everybody seems to think it's gonna be a big one. I'm just saying that for information, once you get that information, get it to the attorney so they can act on it.
Okay, so now does this change the initial
Do
pulling
you
the
think we should
pump,
give
the
them
different
the
pumping?
initial
and all that?
ones
So
and
this
then
gonna be
let
pulling
them
from the
just wait
same,
to see what?
or is it
I
not
think,
change
I
at all?
think what John's doing is the stuff he's gonna wanna see where you can identify the source. You know, certainly they'll wanna see that. And then I know somebody's working on putting together a map of the roads and the areas where this fly ash is, they're waiting to get that. So I think they're rather anxious to get started, so just saying, you know.
Part of the problem with this is, if this vein of water is contaminated, you can't just drill another well. Because if you punch through this vein into another well, deeper well, and you don't do it the right way, you're gonna contaminate the lower well with this dirty water. And I know that in some cases, I know a guy that was dealing with it, and it was $100,000 just to punch a new well, because you have to seal when you go out of this aquifer and go into the next one. You have to seal it before you punch through it. So, I mean, if this aquifer is contaminated that we're sitting on right here, there could be a rock wall between this one and, say, down where John is.
Yeah.
And that, it won't penetrate through that, but this one's contaminated. And once it's there, the only options are filtering it if you wanna try to use your same water. And carbon filters is, in a rural area, is the way to go, but how many other wells are pulling out of the same aquifer? I'm gonna test 2 more wells tomorrow, because they recommended that I test them, even though one's at my house, which is 7 miles away, and the other one's about half as far. But we could be pulling out of the same well, water as here. We're just on the ridge, we're deeper, but the contamination could still be there. That's why I say, I mean, you got how many wells in the area that could be affected? And if we don't do something, something's gonna happen, and it isn't gonna be good for the township. If we know about it and don't do nothing, we gotta be proactive.
What this will probably come down to is the township will have to rebuild because that's what will happen.
What's that, Glenn?
I think what's gonna happen if we do this is every township well is gonna have to be tested.
Yeah. It isn't bad doing
Because
just
that
a,
fly ash is everywhere in our township. It's all over the whole damn township.
yeah, and some of the older wells in the
And it
township.
may not be coming from the fly ash, who knows?
My well up here is 15 years old where I tested it. It's 120 feet deep, case down 105. The other one I tested was over at my folks' place. That's an old stovepipe case well. So if it's gonna have groundwater contamination, that'd be the one. So it's, and how many other wells in the community are like that?
A lot of old ones are out there.
Yep. So is the township gonna start drilling new wells or supply carbon filters or, I mean, it could get expensive before we're all done. The carbon filter, that's one option I'm looking at right now, just to see, and like I said, I haven't got all the information back yet. But at least with the carbon filter, you can throw the filter in the landfill and you're done with the lead. But RO systems you're dumping you're dumping the toxin right back out on the ground. It's a losing battle.
Get some signs, some of the way to get drink the water.
Maybe you get a sign up, put on, I guess most bathrooms in the north, at least water, yep.
Just make something out here.
Just ready to make the record, homemade like per board or something?
Well, I gotta say something too. Town of Virgin, they put fly ash too on Wolf Lane. First you should notify them, not this fly ash crap. So I go, I think they did Virgin of Wolf Lane.
That's all they did?
Yeah.
So other than getting bottled water and put a sign up for now, John, do you think, can we wait till we get the result to see, if it is a well, or what's your suggestion?
I just, I want, let you guys know, I mean,
Right.
I'll know probably next week whether or not wells farther out from here are contaminated, but the two closest wells that I have access to are tested.
So I would have suspected this one's probably the same, I mean, I'd be shocked if it's not in the well.
No. And they don't, you can get lead contamination from some of the old plumbing processes and pipes and stuff like that, some, but they shouldn't be as high as what this is, according to the people I talked to at the health department, so.
We have very interesting.
And the lead risk, it's more for guys that size, and, that's the biggest risk. That's why, $37, you can get your lead test done at Vernon County Health Department, they'll test it. That's all it is $37. You can do everything for $105. I just send in lead tests.
But they send the lead to La Crosse, they don't do the lead.
Right. La Crosse County Health Department does the lead test.
But you can give everything to them.
You give everything to
Health
Vernon
department.
County, yeah, go to the health department, give them all your samples,
Yeah.
and then they ship it where it needs to go, and we got our results, right? You get them quick.
Yes.
I mean, within a day or two. Well, you take and then you had to keep it on ice. John, you've done more of them than I have.
For
You have
lead?
to like run the water for so long, you can't have your filter, your sediment filter on your sink, you have to remove that, then you have to leave the water sit for so many hours, then you have to run the water for so long, then you take your samples. Inside each little thing is, some of them have little sediment that they use to test with. I mean, it's easy, even a hairdresser can do it, so it's simple. It's simple, and then you have to keep, one has to be on ice, and you take it up, and if it's not on ice, they won't use it, but it's very self-explanatory.
So it's a kit.
Right, I mean, it's kits, they
Well, if
give
you're
you
just
bottles,
if you're just testing for lead,
yes,
you want the first draw of your tap
Yes.
in the morning. You don't wanna run it or flush it or nothing, just
right,
open the tap up, fill the jug up, and take it up there.
so there's,
Because the lead will build up in the line as it sets.
and then there's the bacteria test that you run.
And they
it's-
have a kit for this, right?
They have all the kits, you just go out and tell them what you want, what you're doing it for, and they're very happy to do it for you. Of course, you pay them, but they're very happy to do it for you. So,